Senator Hassan.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair and Ranking Member Burr. Dr. Califf, like all of my colleagues here, I'm hearing from my constituents. Granite Staters have shared with me their struggles to obtain formula for their infants, and as we all know, formula for many, if not most of these babies, is a matter of life and death. Their parents are desperate and terrified. I've called on the administration to invoke the Defense Production Act and allow the importation of additional formulas, and I'm encouraged that the administration has taken these actions, but shortages continue and infants remain at risk. So what my constituents want to know is, when can New Hampshire families expect the shortages to end? How quickly will they be able to walk into a store and be confident that they will find formula on the shelves?
Well, I'm sure you know, Senator Hassan, I can't be exact about this, but my expectation is that within 2 months we should be beyond normal and with a plethora. And what you'll see is, due to all these measures being taken, the shortage is going to be getting better and better. And you'll also see the big focus is on these specialty formulas that all of you have mentioned. In fact, in the Abbott facility, that is the first thing to come off the line because they were such a dominant company in that regard. And they've been able to move their timeline up now to within a month they will have that specialty formula out.
Well, thank you. So does the FDA have a plan and a timeline that shows how you plan to get to that point 2 months from now?
This is across HHS, and it is a lot of data points. So if you said, is it a simple chart, the answer is no, because there are many contingencies. But there is a committee that has all the data in hand, and if you would like something that's a little more specific about how the pieces fill in, I'm sure we can produce that.
I think it would be very helpful for us to get an actual plan, because without a plan, without goals, it is hard to know that you're actually going to meet them. It's also really important for the public to be able to understand when they can expect to have a little bit more peace of mind as they search for formula. Let me go to the issue of the specialty formula and the Operation Fly formula that President Biden announced. He announced that we are now using Department of Defense planes to pick up overseas formula and deliver it to the areas in need. At least 2 of these flights have arrived in the U.S. carrying several tons of formula. How is the administration prioritizing the distribution of the imported formula to rural areas and other regions where families have few alternative purchasing options?
Each application also has to include a distribution plan, which is reviewed at the level of HHS to make sure that the most needy places are getting the formula. I can assure you there's hyper awareness of the problems in rural America right now with health in general and access to care. So that is one of the priority areas.
Okay, well, I would love to follow up on that as well. And then I just want to turn to thinking through what we need to do once this current crisis is over. The FDA and other federal agencies need to take steps to make sure, obviously, that this never happens again. Supply chain challenges exacerbated by the pandemic made clear the need to build out domestic capacity to manufacture critical goods quickly, and that goes for infant formula as well as a number of other critical goods. What steps should FDA and other agencies take to prevent these shortages going forward? For instance, should the administration work to build out extra manufacturing capacity, stockpile the ingredients needed to make formula, require manufacturers to produce a reserve of formula, or to have the capacity to make extra in short order to prevent situations like the ones we face now?
Well, we have a number of measures that are before you now in pending legislation, as you well know, and those are enumerated, and we'll make sure you have a list of those. But you've mentioned a couple that are not yet decided where we do need to make a decision once we get on top of this crisis, and that has to do with the word stockpile.
Right.
There has been no stockpile of infant formula. It was not conceived of going back, and I think it's something that we really need to consider. Of course, if we had diversification of the market, and some federal agency, whether it's FDA or some other federal agency, had insight into the supply chains and how they fit together, the likelihood we would need this stockpile would be quite low, because we would have a vibrant system that was resilient to stress. But we don't have that now. So between stockpiling and having a resilient system, we should be able to prevent this from happening again.
Well, we certainly need to. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Senator Tuberville.